In our modern lives, we often find ourselves surrounded by constant noise. The sounds of traffic, conversations, televisions, and phones fill almost every hour of the day. Many people think this is normal and that silence is rare, maybe even uncomfortable. Yet silence is not something empty or meaningless. It is full of value that we often overlook. When you allow silence to enter your day, you create a space that is very different from the world of noise. In this space, your thoughts can settle, just like water becomes clear when it is no longer shaken. In silence, you may begin to notice small things that are usually hidden. The sound of your own breath, the warmth of sunlight on your face, or the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat. These simple experiences remind you that life is already complete in this very moment. Silence also allows you to listen more deeply, not only to yourself, but also to others. When you are not planning what to say next, or distracted by outside noise, you can truly hear another person. In that quiet attention, relationships grow stronger and more genuine. Many people feel uneasy when things become silent. They may reach for a phone, turn on music, or start a new conversation. But if you can stay with the silence, even for a short while, you will discover that it is not empty at all. It is alive, steady, and peaceful. Silence is not a break from life. It is part of life itself. It is always waiting for us, like a friend who never leaves, even when we forget. Every day, the world asks us to give our attention to many things at once. Advertisements call to us from screens, notifications arrive on our phones, and opinions reach us from news or social media. This endless stream of voices can make the heart feel crowded and the mind unsettled. In such a world, silence becomes a shelter, a place where we can return to ourselves. When you step into silence, it is like walking into a quiet room after standing in a storm. The noise may still exist outside, but within that silence, you are safe. You do not have to respond, you do not have to argue, and you do not have to prove anything. Silence protects you by giving you a distance from the pressure of constant demands. This shelter does not need to be far away. It can be found in small moments, even in the middle of a busy day. Closing your eyes for a few breaths, turning off a device for a short while, or sitting quietly with no plan. These are simple doors to silence. In that shelter, you may notice that the world's noise has less power over you than you imagined. Silence also reminds us that we are more than our reactions. The world may try to tell us who we are or what we must want, but in silence, we meet ourselves without those voices. There we can rest, and from that rest, we grow stronger. The world is full of noise, but silence is always near, like a roof that gives shade from the sun or walls that protect from the wind. Silence offers us a home where our spirit can breathe freely. In the busy rhythm of life, we often feel pulled in many directions. Work, family, and responsibilities create a constant movement that can leave us feeling unsteady. When everything outside is moving so fast, it is easy to lose the sense of balance inside. Quiet moments are the gentle ground where balance can return. When you allow yourself to be silent, even for a short while, you give your inner world the chance to find its natural rhythm again. Just as the ocean becomes calm when the wind stops blowing, your mind and heart also settle when you rest in silence. In that stillness, you may notice that the worries of yesterday and the plans of tomorrow become less heavy. What remains is the steady presence of this moment. These quiet times do not need to be long. A few minutes of stillness in the morning, a pause during the day, or a moment before sleep can bring great peace. The power lies not in the length of time, but in the willingness to simply be. In those moments, balance slowly returns, not because you try to control it, but because silence itself has the power to restore. When you carry this inner balance into your daily life, you respond to situations differently. Instead of reacting quickly with tension, you may find the space to choose with care. You begin to live with more ease, more patience, and more trust in yourself. Quiet moments are not separate from life. They are part of the fabric that holds life together. By returning to silence again and again, you protect the balance of your inner world and allow your life to flow with greater harmony. Life often brings us pain, disappointment, and confusion. We may carry heavy memories or feel hurt by words spoken too quickly. The mind can circle around these wounds, making them deeper, while the heart struggles to find rest. In such times, silence becomes a gentle medicine, offering healing without demand. When we enter silence, we are not asked to explain ourselves or defend our feelings. Silence does not judge, and it does not hurry. It simply holds us, like a soft blanket placed over tired shoulders. In this safe space, the heart begins to breathe again, and the mind slowly loosens its grip on painful thoughts. Healing through silence is not about forgetting or escaping. It is about allowing time and space for the natural strength within us to rise. Just as a cut on the skin closes when it is left undisturbed, the wounds of the heart and mind also mend when given quiet care. Silence provides that care, not by doing something loud, but by being present in a steady, gentle way. In the stillness, we may notice that pain becomes lighter. It does not disappear at once, but it no longer controls every breath. Little by little, silence teaches us that it is possible to live with peace, even after hardship. Many people look outside themselves for healing, but silence reminds us that much of what we need is already inside. By resting in quiet, we allow the natural healing power of life itself to move through us. In this way, silence is not only an absence of sound, but also a presence that restores both heart and mind. So often, we look for answers outside ourselves. We read books, listen to experts, and follow the many voices of the world. These can be useful, but they are not always enough. True understanding does not come only from words. It grows in the quiet space where no words are needed. Silence opens the doorway to this deeper kind of knowing. When we are silent, thoughts begin to slow down. In this slowing, we notice truths that were hidden beneath constant activity. Questions that once seemed heavy may suddenly appear lighter, and answers may come not as loud declarations, but as gentle clarity. Silence helps us see what was always there, waiting for us to stop and notice. Deep understanding is not about collecting more information. It is about touching the simple essence of life. In silence, you may realize that you already have enough, that the present moment is complete, and that life is not something to chase, but something to live. These realizations cannot be forced, and they cannot be taught in the usual way. They are discovered when silence becomes your companion. Silence also helps us understand others. When we listen in quiet, without rushing to speak, we begin to hear not only the words of another person, but also the feelings behind those words. This kind of listening creates connection and reveals truths that ordinary conversation may miss. The world tells us to keep searching, but silence reminds us that deep understanding is found when we stop and simply be. In this way, silence is not empty, but a living doorway to wisdom that is always near. In today's world, many people believe that strength is shown by how much you can achieve, how fast you can move, or how loud your voice can be. But there is another kind of strength that is quieter and often overlooked. It is the strength of choosing stillness. When you decide to pause, you are making a powerful choice. You are saying that your value is not measured only by constant action. In stillness, you stand firm against the pressure of a world that always asks for more. This is not weakness, it is a sign of deep courage. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means being fully present without rushing. It means allowing yourself to rest in the moment instead of being pulled in every direction. In this rest, you discover a strength that does not depend on outside approval. It is a strength that grows quietly within, steady and unshaken. When you choose stillness, you also learn patience. You see that life does not need to be forced. Just as seeds grow in their own time, your life unfolds naturally when given space. This patience makes you strong because you no longer fight against time. Instead, you walk with it. The world often praises those who move quickly and speak loudly, but silence shows us another way. True strength is not always about control. Sometimes it is about letting things be as they are, standing calm in the middle of movement, and knowing that you are already enough. In choosing stillness, you are not stepping away from life. You are stepping into life with a power that is gentle but unshakable. This is the quiet strength that silence gives. In life, there are moments when struggle feels heavy and unending. We may face illness, loss, or deep uncertainty. At such times, many people search for comfort in words, advice, or distractions. These can sometimes help, but often they do not touch the depth of our pain. Silence, however, can walk with us in a way nothing else can. Silence does not try to explain why things are hard. It does not push us to feel better before we are ready. Instead, it stays close, steady, and patient, like a quiet friend who never leaves. In that presence, we do not feel the need to pretend. We can rest in honesty, admitting our sorrow or confusion without fear of being judged. When we allow silence to be our companion, we may find that even in struggle, there is a space of calm. The pain may not vanish, but it becomes lighter when it is not surrounded by noise. Silence gives us room to breathe, to release a little of the weight, and to discover that we can carry on. Over time, this quiet companionship teaches us resilience. We realize that we are not alone, even when no one else is near. The steady presence of silence reminds us that life continues, and within that flow, strength slowly returns. Times of struggle will come to everyone. No life is free from challenge. Yet when silence becomes our companion, we face these storms with a little more steadiness. We discover that peace can exist even in the middle of hardship, and that silence is always willing to share that peace with us. Life often feels like a river moving too fast. We are carried from one task to another, and our minds become filled with questions, choices, and worries. In this rushing stream, it is hard to see clearly. Our vision becomes cloudy, and even simple decisions feel heavy. Silence is the gentle ground where the water settles, and clarity returns. When we allow silence into our days, confusion begins to fade. Just as dust falls to the bottom of still water, the noise inside us becomes quiet. In that calm, we can see what is truly important. Problems that once looked large may appear smaller, and paths that seemed hidden may become visible. Silence does not give us every answer at once, but it gives us the space to see with fresh eyes. Clarity in life is not about controlling every detail. It is about knowing what matters most in each moment. Silence reminds us that we do not need to hold on to everything at once. We can let go of what is unnecessary and hold close to what brings real meaning. This kind of vision cannot be found in hurry or noise. It blossoms only in quiet. When life feels uncertain, it is tempting to seek more information, more voices, or more action. But often, what we need is less. Silence offers this gift. In its presence, we discover that clarity is not something far away, but something already within us, waiting to be uncovered. Through silence, we learn to walk with greater confidence and simplicity. The world may remain busy, but our way through it becomes clearer. Silence gives us eyes that can see, and a heart that can understand what truly matters. Silence is not only for special times or distant retreats. It can become part of our daily lives, like a trusted rhythm that carries us through each day. When silence is practiced regularly, it slowly shapes the way we think, feel, and act. It becomes a steady companion, not only in quiet moments, but also in the middle of activity. To live with silence as a daily practice does not mean withdrawing from the world. It means learning how to carry quietness within, no matter where you are. Even in a crowded street or a busy workplace, there can be a small corner of silence inside you. By touching this inner stillness again and again, you begin to move through life with greater ease. This practice can be simple. You may start your morning by resting in silence for a few breaths, letting the day begin without rush. During the day, you might pause between tasks, letting silence clear the mind before continuing. At night, silence can be a gentle doorway into rest. These small practices gather over time, building a life that is calmer and more centered. Living with silence also changes how we relate to others. When we carry quietness inside, our presence becomes softer, and people around us feel more at peace. Our words grow more thoughtful, and our actions less hurried. In this way, daily silence does not only help us, it also becomes a gift to those we meet. When silence is lived as a practice, it stops being something rare. It becomes part of who we are, always available, always near. In that closeness, life itself feels more open, steady, and whole. Silence is not something far away or difficult to reach. It is always present, waiting for us to notice it. Through silence, we discover rest, balance, clarity, and strength. It is a gentle companion in times of joy and also in times of struggle. When we welcome silence into our daily lives, even in small moments, we find that life itself becomes more open and peaceful. As we come to the end of these reflections, I wish to share my gratitude. I am deeply thankful for your time and your presence here. Listening to these words is not only about hearing a voice, but also about opening space within yourself for stillness. That act is valuable, and I respect it with all sincerity. I am also truly grateful to those who have supported this channel in many ways. Your kind actions, whether through likes, subscriptions, thoughtful comments, super thanks, or membership, are received with warmth in my heart. Each gesture tells me that these moments of sharing silence and reflection have meaning for you. That is the greatest encouragement a speaker can receive. As we part now, I leave you with this thought. Silence is not an absence but a presence, steady and always near. May you carry it with you into your daily life, allowing it to guide and comfort you whenever you need it. Thank you once again for walking together in these reflections. May peace be with you, now and always.